Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. And if you're tuning in for the first time, please remember to click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be the first to see when I post new stuff on my channel. So now let's get into this video. So today I'm going to be making a vanilla cake, or a sponge cake as we say in the islands. And normally I would use butter, but back in my country I remember we had this brand that was called Blue Band butter, but at the bottom it had margarine. And I remember growing up with my aunts and everybody using that margarine to make cakes, and it was really good. My aunt actually made one of the best sponge cake, vanilla sponge, that I had ever eaten actually. So today I'm not going to be using butter, but I am going to be using margarine in this one. But it looks just like butter actually, but it's not really butter. But again, so butter is a dairy product made from milk and cream. It contains water for less fat and calories, but margarine is oil based. So remember that, guys. Margarine is like butter, but it's just oil based. It's 80% vegetable oil and water and flavor. It tastes just like butter. So we're going to be using that today. I hadn't done this cake with margarine for a couple of years actually. So today we're going to try it and see how everything works out. It should be working out pretty fine because it normally does. Anyway, I have 4 sticks of butter in here. Well, 4 sticks of margarine. That's a pound. That's 16 ounces. 4 of these is 1 pound. So 1 of these is 1/4 pound, 2 is 1/2 pound, 3 is 3/4 pounds, and 4 is 1 pound, which is 16 ounces. So we have 4 of this in here. I have 4 cups of sugar in there. In here, I've already sifted everything out. I sifted it and measured and sifted everything. So we have 6 cups of flour in here, and we have 6 teaspoons of baking powder. Remember, guys, teaspoons of baking powder in here. So we're gonna put all the baking powder in the flour. We don't have to use any salt in this mix because the margarine has salt already in there. So just omit your salt, because normally you would put salt because you would use unsalted butter, but this time we're not using salt because it already has salt in there. I have 2 teaspoons of extract or essence, but I want to tell you what I never really use only vanilla unless it's something that really has to stand out, like a vanilla mousse or something like that, then I would use strictly vanilla. But I did use 1 teaspoon vanilla, 1/4 teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon mixed essence, 1/2 teaspoon mixed essence, and 1/2 teaspoon almond essence. And it came up to, well, 2 teaspoons of essence in here, but it's a mix of 3 of them. That's combined to give you 2 teaspoons. And I did put 1/2 of a vanilla bean. I did scrape 1/2 of a vanilla bean, the seeds that is in the vanilla. Oh, it's yummy. So I also have that. So I'm gonna scrape that into my flavorings. So it will all be in there when I'm mixing the cake. Vanilla bean is a little expensive, but it's really, really good. And normally when I'm making cakes in my house, I really don't use it in there, but just for the video I'm adding it in. I only really use my expensive vanilla bean when I'm doing business, but for you I did put it in today. And I have 2 cups of milk. What I do with my milk, I somehow I just use some sour cream in it. I use like 2 tablespoons of sour cream in my cup, and I warm it in the microwave first and liquefy it, and then I add the rest of milk to make up the 2 cups. So I have 2 cups of milk in here, and I have my eggs as well. I have 8 eggs. in here already broken. Guys, please always break your eggs in a separate bowl. Never break your eggs in your mix. Always break your eggs separately to make sure that your eggs are not rot. It's not spoiled or turned or anything like that, because the last thing you want is to be creaming all your expensive butter and sugar and stuff like that. Put all your stuff in and then crack an egg over your mix, and there is no turning back. Once you break an egg in your mix and it's not good, that's the end of it. There is no scooping that out or trying to pull some. You just got to toss everything. So to avoid all of that, just crack your eggs in a separate bowl and then put them in one by one, making sure that they're good. I also always use lime peels or lemon or oranges in my cake all the time. I just think it really gives it a really fresh smell and taste, flavor. So I always put lime. I grate one lime. Today I'm using lime. Normally I would use lemons, but it doesn't matter. Lemons, lime, or oranges you can use, and you can put it in your mix as well. So so let's start with the creaming of the butter and sugar in here. I'm putting it on like a medium high, which is about between a 4 and a 5. Between a 4 and a 6 actually. So we're going to leave that to cream for a little bit until it comes white and fluffy. But in between the creaming, you have to always stop and scrape your bowl. So remember that every time between your mix, because it always comes up to the side and only what is down in the bowl creams, and the ones on top stays grainy with the sugar, because it's not down to the blades to get mixed in. So you always, every now and then, you got to just stop and scrape. Okay, so let's heat this for a little bit and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so we have been mixing for a couple minutes, so we're going to stop and we're going to scrape our bowl and our beater down. It's looking good already. Starting to turn white, creamier than how it was before. So you see, starting to already cream up. So we're just going to leave it for a couple more minutes so it can really melt the granules in the sugar. A lot of times I would I'm trying to do it the way that I in the old days that we would do it, but it seems like I have programmed myself too much to doing things the way that I do it now. So normally we would put the vanilla in the milk. Let me do it just like that, because now when I make vanilla cakes for my custom cakes and stuff, I normally would put my vanilla in here and cream that up, because it gets there is something that happens when you cream the butter with the sugar. You put the vanilla in here, it like the butter coats everything in, seals everything in the granules, and I don't really know what happens, but it tastes really good. But that doesn't mean it doesn't taste good if you add it to your milk. But just, I think I'm just gonna go with it, because I've done this for, I've been doing this now for so long that I feel like if I don't add it in there, like, okay, Natalie, what are you really doing? But don't get me wrong, I did it like that, but adding it to the milk for a very long time. But I'm just going to do it like this now, like what I normally would do. And here we go. So we're going to leave it for a couple of minutes again, and we're going to check. Okay guys, I think the mix is pretty good now. So I'm gonna, you see, everything is beautiful now. So I'm gonna add the eggs one at a time and continue mixing. Never over mix your eggs, just mix until it's combined. that you can really see traces of it, but don't over mix it. So okay, well, all my eggs kind of got messed up already, so but that's okay. Just estimate, and I assume that is one egg that just went in. And then you do that until you complete the churning in all of your eggs. Mix all your eggs in there. Add in your eggs, guys. This is when you put your limes in, the lime peel. All your grated lime rind, the skin of a lime. This is when you put it all in. And scrape the sides. Okay, this is where now you're gonna add your flour. First you start with flour. Guys, before I do that, I wanted to show you something. There is two types of vanilla. There's white vanilla and there is brown vanilla. Whenever you use your vanilla bean, don't throw it away. Always put it inside of your brown vanilla extract. It makes it more strong. And I put some of my vanilla stalks, there's shells in here as well, and you can grind it in a black pepper grinder, and you can use it as powder to put in all your cakes and stuff as well. So remember, start with flour in your mix. And add part of your liquid. I'm only doing that to try to get the mix from on top. Then you continue with adding some more of your flour. You may have to stop it and do this part of it, because I've been doing it for a little bit, so I don't really stop it. Most of the time I would just scrape it down like that. Then you add more liquid. Try mixing your flour in on your lowest speed, okay guys? You add more flour in there. This gives you a full, this is a 5-quart mixer bowl, and a lot of times when I do this particular mix, it gives me a little, the bowl gets to the top. So sometimes I have to take some out because I don't want to use my 20-quart mixer because it's too big for this little mix. But a lot of the times I have to like throw some out in a bowl and finish the mixing. But I'm gonna try to see if I can get it all done today in here. Okay, so we add the rest of our liquid in, the last of it actually. A little bit of the sour cream at the bottom. Okay, so we're gonna try adding in the rest of our flour in here. Kind of raise this up a little bit. Try to incorporate everything. I'm trying to kind of help it mixing. So I still have some more flour to go in there as well. There's flour that's stuck to the top. It's getting a little messy in here, guys. So I had put my oven to hot and it's supposed to be 350, but I normally bake on 325. A lot of my cakes, because I think my oven is just a little off. So I use it on 325 instead of 350, and it works fine for me. So you gotta also know the oven that you have with your temperatures and if it works properly. You see, guys, that it's making a bit of mess because the bowl is so full. So this is why I said that sometimes I will throw it out, because this is 1 pound of mix. So sometimes I would put some out in a bowl and really try to get it mixed in properly. But there's still flour like on the sides. So I'm trying to get that incorporated. Oh, I'm making more mess than anything. So you see, even a baker like me can make a lot of mess at times. So let's strive to not to make all this mess. Okay, guys? Okay, so this time I think I may have to stop it and really clean everything down. We don't want to over mix either, right? It determines the better your sponge comes out. It depends on how you mix as well. If you over mix your flour in here, then you start to create gluten, and your cakes don't come out as nice and as spongy as you would like it to. So I'm trying to get all of this to mix in properly. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen here right now. Okay, guys, I don't want to over mix, so we can stop it right here. And you see, it's beautiful. It's creamy and everything, right? So we got a beautiful mix. You don't want to over mix it, so you just stop right here. Okay, so I'm going to clean this up and put it in my pans. I already greased my tins. And I put parchment paper or wax paper at the bottom of it. I didn't do the sides. I just did the bottom of my pan. I sprayed it, I floured it, and I put my parchment or wax paper at the bottom of it. So this is what I used. But if you don't have wax paper and you have parchment, you can also use that. I don't really use baking strips like that, so I don't need to use that. I mean, it's not a cake for, I mean, it's just for family. As we in quarantine now. Oh my God, all the mess. Anyway, we in quarantine now, and I just decided to bake and give family members one. So I'm gonna hopefully let them come pick it up, hand it to them in a bag outside the door, and send them on their way. So I want to also, I was thinking about, it's Easter weekend, and maybe I will do a marble. So maybe I would marble some of it. So we'll see how it goes. So I'll be right back, guys. So okay, guys, I told you that I was going to marble some of it. So what I did, I add color. So I did yellow neon, Chef Master neon, bright yellow. I did a fuchsia pink, a hot pink, and I did neon bright purple as well. And I'm just adding my colors in my cake pans now. Let me show you how it will look in a little bit. So this is how it's starting to look so far. I'm just kind of layering it, and then I'm going to kind of make a little zigzag in there. So I'm just going to continue doing that, layering it, and adding in all my rest of cake in there, and I'll come right back to you guys. Okay guys, so I finished marbling my cakes. I'm going to put them all in the oven now. And this is what it looks like. Pretty, right? So we'll see how it comes out. And these are my other two vanillas, plain. So guys, the mix can give you, the measurement of the mix that I gave you can give you either 4 8-inch tins cake, or it can give you 2 8-inch and 2 6-inch cakes. So that pound of cake gives you either 2 8 again, or 2 6 and 2 6. So you have 4 cakes in all. So you could either have 4 8-inch or 2 8-inch and 2 6-inch. So see you back. I'm going to put them in the oven right now, and I'm going to see you back in a little bit. Okay guys, the cakes were in the oven for around 45 minutes. You can leave them to to see the colors that you want, to get it kind of golden brown. This is the way that I like mine, so this is the way I left it. I took it out from the oven, and these are the marbles. They came out absolutely beautiful. So as I told you, it's still hot, so I'm going to leave it in the tin for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to take them out so you can see how they look. But as I told you, the mix that I gave you with 1 pound of butter, which is 16 ounces, 2 cups of milk, yeah, sorry guys, I was just stuttering giving you the ingredients. I had to run quick, get something for my son. Okay, so the ingredients that I used for these cakes, and I told you you can get either 4 8-inch cakes or 2 8-inch and 2 6-inch cakes. So this is what we got, and the ingredients that I used was 2 cups of butter, which is 16 ounces, as I told you, or 4 sticks. I use margarine, but you can substitute, you can use the butter instead of the margarine. It doesn't matter. It's the same ingredients that you're going to have to put in, even if you swap one thing out for the other. I use 4 cups of sugar, 6 cups of flour, 6 teaspoon baking powder, 2 tablespoons of flavoring of your choice. I mixed 3, as I told you: vanilla, almond, and mixed essence. I use the white flavorings because I don't want the cake to change the color. I use 8 eggs. I use the lime peel of 1 lime. I grated. If you're using unsalted butter, then you need to add 2 teaspoons of salt. But I used what I used. It was salted already, so I didn't have to add any salt to it. So I just omit the salt because it had enough salt from the butter, the margarine in there. And I used 2 cups of milk. And remember, when you cream your butter and you add your eggs in, don't over whip your eggs. and start off with flour first and end with flour. So you use flour, milk, however you want to do it, but don't overmix your batter either, because it changes the texture that your cake is going to be. And again, you can swap. Your vanilla cake is a cake that you can build a lot on, because it's this foundation with vanilla. You can use it with a lot of stuff. Strawberry, you can use it with just about any other pairings. So once you figure out what pairings you like, this is a cake that you can use with just about any pairing that you would have. You can substitute the milk and use maybe orange juice, pineapple juice. Me, sometimes I use Bailey's, but again, that is my choice. You could add on things to that. You can add in spice, because a lot of time I didn't do spice and nutmeg here, but I normally would add either spice, cinnamon, or nutmeg to my cakes. So you can add those things in. You can add chocolate chips to your vanilla cake. You can add nuts. You can add cherries. You can add raisins. Anything that you want to add to this batter. As you saw that I did different colors, and I made a marble cake as well. You can do different things and enhance your plain vanilla cake. Anything of your choice that you think you want to add. Raw fruit might be a little tricky sometimes, and like chocolate chips and cherries and stuff, if you're putting it in, you can't just put it in just like that, because it's sink to the bottom of your cake. But if you're adding it in, always dust it in a little bit of flour first and then put it into your batter, so it will spread out evenly. It will distribute and go down evenly. It won't sink all to the bottom. So yeah, so thank you again for tuning in to my channel and watching my video. I really appreciate it, and thank you. Be safe out there. Until my next video. See you guys. Bye.